Hi everybody, Matt back with you. Christmas Day 1964. A time of happiness and celebration, but one that turned to confusion and fear for the people here in Barkisland in Halifax. Because on that day, Father Christmas may have visited, but for a good number of the people here, they were also visited by the police as a murder investigation was underway of a brutal slaying of a lady that had happened on their doorstep. This is Wood End Lane. Just to the left you can see the roof of a row of cottages called Wood End Cottages. That was the home of Margaret Williamson, who went by her middle name of Victoria or Vicky, and she lived there with her sister Anne. She worked just a bit further on the road at the Bower Mill. So Vicki Williamson worked here at Bower's Mill. She'd worked there for over 20 years and lived in Barkisland for over 50. And she lived just with her sister here on this road called Branch Road. Vicki left work in the middle of the afternoon on the 23rd of December. She left Bower's Mill, walked past her own house on here on Branch Road, and headed to the end to catch a bus. She would have walked through this area. This is called Zachariah Wood. She made the short walk on here on Branch Road and headed onto Scammonden Road to the bus stop. So she was timed at that bus stop in the middle of the afternoon, and she was spotted in West Vale between the hours of 5 and 6 doing her Christmas shopping. However, she didn't catch the bus back. She decided to walk back, which is about a 2-mile stretch, almost uphill. I remember as well, this was 2 days before Christmas. It was December. So it's likely it would have been pitch black. And at some point between here and Zachariah Wood, Vicky Williamson was assaulted. She was attacked and thrown over the wall. The attacker is said to have leapt over the wall and strangled her to death. This is the location of the attack. Branch Road, the field, Zachariah Wood all come together, and this is the wall she was pushed over and then killed. It's quite hard to imagine this beautiful serenity shattered by murder. But after killing her, he didn't leave her there. Instead, he dragged her closer to home, dumped her in a swampy part of the woods at the bottom end of here. Tragically, on Christmas Eve night, one of the neighbours of the sisters looked out of his window and saw Vicky's sister Anne walking up and down the driveway as if looking for her sister Vicky. She wouldn't have known. She was so close. On Christmas Eve night, walking past the field, it was noticed that there were some packages and bags strewn around the field. On closer inspection, it was found that those packages contained Christmas gifts that had been bought in West Vale. They'd all been left but scattered across the field. On Christmas Day morning, two boys had gone out playing in the field. Possibly they lived on that same row of cottages, and it was there, at the bottom of here in Zachariah Wood, they discovered the body of Vicky Williamson. So as Christmas Day progressed, the police operation got underway straight away. However, it's quite difficult to track some of the movements down of Vicky due to a number of reasons. One, mostly that it was Christmas Day. Things like the mill was closed, the shops in West Vale were closed. I can only presume they knew they were from West Vale because there would have been receipts inside. Interestingly as well, on Vicky's body there was still her purse untouched. There'd been no attempt to rob her. This just seemed to be a completely out of the blue attack. Had no reason for it. Vicky was a well-loved member of both the mill that she worked in and of this area, having lived here for half a century. And the shock felt by the people of Barkisland was raw. So it suggested that Vicky's body was dragged to a very swampy area. And of course, if you look here, this area is definitely boggy, sinking mud. I wonder if this is the location of it. Okay, so here we are at Bowers Mill, which was a cloth manufacturing company, and Vicky worked here in the mending department, and there is a group photo which features Vicky working in that department. Police stopped multiple cars on the road. They also went door to door asking residents if they'd seen anything or about their locations for that day. And of course, with it being Christmas, most of them were said at home. However, over time, I started to piece together one or two people and a gang of youths had suggested that somebody during the day on the 23rd had been hanging around Branch Road. The local barbers in the town were very surprised when they got a visit from the police, asking them in the last week or two whether or not they'd cut someone's hair as a Beatles cut. 1964 was the height of Beatlemania, and so I guess a lot of people were getting their haircuts to look like their musical heroes. But yeah, within a 10-mile radius of Barkisland, every barbershop was visited. That's because the perpetrator of the crime, or the suspect if you like, was apparently 5'6" to 5'8", roughly 20 to 25 years old, and had a Beatles cut. So as 1964 turned into 1965, no arrests were made, people of Barkisland became angry. At that time in Parliament, the Labour MP Sidney Silverman was pushing for the law against the death penalty, including hanging. The residents sent a telegram to say what they thought of the no hanging bill, and wrote on the telegram that goodwill to all men is neither in our hearts or our lips this season. With a photo fit in place and a description of what the man was wearing, a brown coat, checked jeans and winkle picker shoes. It wasn't long before people started to say where they'd seen this person, and one in particular suggested that they'd seen that man board a flight late on the 23rd of December to Zambia. So the African police were suddenly involved, Interpol were involved, as they tried to search for this man in Zambia. Nobody came forward. Police then revealed a bombshell announcement. They said that a few months earlier in Halifax, a 22-year-old nurse had been attacked. She had been assaulted and thrown over a wall and then sexually assaulted. This time, she had survived, but she described her attacker. The attacker, she said, had a Beatles haircut. So the two were immediately linked. Time, however, moved on. At an inquest into Vicky's passing, the verdict was an open verdict of murder by persons or persons unknown, and Miss Williamson was laid to rest in Christ's churchyard in Barkisland, which we will head to shortly to pay our respects. In 1966, the story took a very strange twist when people woke up on Scammonden Road in their houses, and in their letterboxes they received a note. It was written in red saying, "What about the 1964 murder of Miss Williamson?" And quite a few houses all received the same note. It was never traced. Nobody ever admitted to putting those notes through, or even what it meant. Very odd. So I'm scouring the graveyard looking for Vicky's grave. No success so far, and on Find a Grave there isn't a photograph. There is a plot number, but I was just about to say none of them are listed, but actually 253. Okay, I'll keep searching. Okay, according to the plot number on Find a Grave, this patch is the final resting place of Vicky. Yeah, I think it's a real shame there isn't a gravestone for Vicki Williamson. Probably a sister as well. There were one or two of the Williamsons, but with them being two sisters on their own, don't think they had any family, so immediate family. Yeah, shame. Which means it's more important, this video is more important for keeping their memory alive. "60 years on, this still feels like a case that raises more questions than has any answers. I suppose chief amongst them would be, did Vicki Williamson know her killer? Was this person somebody she'd maybe walked back with whilst doing the shopping? Or was it somebody literally sitting in wait on Branch Road, just waiting for a victim? I can't believe that Vicky was actually targeted specifically for any other reason than somebody wanting to kill. And the next one, I suppose, would be, did the killer live locally? Was it somebody living in Barkisland all this time? Are they still alive? If they were, they'd be early 80s at least. So I'm wondering what questions are going through your head after watching this as well. Do feel free to comment down below as usual. I suppose another question is that who wrote those letters and why? Why Scammonden Road? Why not on Branch Road where it had happened? Yeah, certainly an intriguing one, isn't it? There's even been suggestions in recent years that Vicky was a very early victim of the Yorkshire Ripper. I think you can probably discount that, as Sutcliffe would have only been about 16 years old at the time. But yeah, you can, it's the right kind of area. But yeah, especially with the copycat attack from months earlier, I think that's unlikely. As always though, this is not a story about the killer. This is a story about the victim. And the victim was Vicky Williamson. Tragically lost her life at the age of 63. The reason we do these kind of videos, it's not to sensationalise, it's just to keep the victim's story alive as best we can. 60 years has passed. Sometimes we've done these and we think maybe, just maybe, somebody might remember something. I imagine this is too far back in time. However, you never know. There is always a hope, isn't there? But yeah. Unfortunately, unless it is solved, Vicky Williamson will be amongst the statistics of the one of roughly 200 unsolved murders in Calderdale. we're doing here on the channel is we're making sure she's never forgotten. So rest in peace, Vicky. I hope you found peace. I hope your friends and family found peace sometime after the event. And we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Take care. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all the usual nice stuff. And we'll see you very soon. In fact, next week, Danielle's back with us as we head to the cave of Mother Shipton. We'll see you soon.